Welcome to the School Leaders Podcast. My name is Dr. Gastard Harrigan, the podcast for current and emerging school leaders, those who support and supervise them. You will hear from passionate educational leaders who are transforming their schools, communities, and creating positive outcomes for students. I will also share my personal reflections and tips from over 15 years as a school leader. Together, we will talk about how to level up our schools and leadership practices. Hello, welcome to the School Leaders Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Gastard Harrigan. In the last episode, I shared some of the strategies you can use to reinvent and rebuild the culture of your school. In today's episode, I continue to share practical ideas and strategy to scale up and revitalize your school or department culture. If you did not listen to episode 1, I encourage you to pause this episode, go back and listen to part 1, or after listening to part 2, go back to part 1. So let's dive right in. Is to create a shared vision. Define, craft a shared vision for your school, for your department, and for your classroom. And the way we went about doing it, we really went about doing it through a collaborative process. Through that, we create our shared vision and focus area. For me, I brought in all the teachers and all the staff in to a school-wide meeting. It was over several days, but the first day we brought all the staff and all the teachers, custodian, everybody. It was a mandatory meeting for everyone to come and attend. What I wanted to know was, and from there I broke them into small groups, and together they identify challenges, problems, issues. One of my pet peeves is, besides just the problems and the challenges, the issues, is possible solutions. So they had to share ideas, write down those ideas, and we went around the media center where we were for that first meeting and charting down the challenges, the issues, and possible solutions. We're not going to be able to implement every idea, but at least I wanted to know what they were thinking. And from there, I pulled together a small group of leaders in the school. It was your department chairs, your team leaders. It was your formal and some informal leaders in the school. The union rep was also invited to participate. So that small group took all that information, the entire staff and teachers put together, and they synthesized it, bite-sized ideas, bite-sized one sentences or two. And from there, they gave that to me. And I took that and I emailed it out to the entire staff. And then we met together again to analyze and look at what the smaller group synthesized. From there, I asked them, hey, listen, did it capture all your thoughts? Did it capture your dreams? Did it capture all the ideas you had? And took additional feedback and made more revisions. And so from there, we really got back to, we worked at, now from there, we pull out and craft our vision. Out of that came our vision, our focus areas. So as a staff, they had to select 3 to 4 areas to what I call big rocks that I was going to focus on, that we were going to address together. That will be our focus area for the next 2 to 3 years. So staff had to work on identifying. We ended up with 4, 2 that were tied, but you want to have 2 to 3 focus areas. I call those big rocks. Those areas are the areas that if we address, we tackle, we align our resources to address, they would have the greatest impact on the school culture and student achievement and addressing our instructional agenda by moving it forward. So that was very important because it became their vision. It became their focus areas. It became theirs because they were bought into it. I had buy-in because it was their vision. In fact, I like to say after that was my marching order, that this was going to be the big rocks, the focus area for the next 2 to 3 years. So they understood for the next 2 to 3 years, our focus was trying to address these big rocks that was going to, move, change, transform the school culture and ultimately improve student achievement. John Maxwell once said that the success of a vision is determined by its ownership by both the leader and the people. You need to hear this. The success of a vision is determined by its ownership by both the leader and the people. So by them participating in the entire process and crafting our vision, our mission, our focus area, they own it. So later on, as we had conversation, as we had dialogue over the years, I would bring them back and remind them of this is the process we went through to create our shared vision, our shared goal. And it was not just my area, but this was areas that we were focused on because those were the things you said were important. Part of sharing vision is having high expectation for students and staff. You want to ensure that staff, teachers know clearly your expectation. Part of creating a shared vision is what I like to say is you want to brand your school, brand your department, or brand your classroom. You want to take time to highlight, showcase. For us, it took a couple of years before we really jumped on social media to showcase some of the things that were happening in the school, some of the things that were happening in different departments. But that got us very good dividend in taking the time to really jump on social media and sharing some of the things that are happening in the school. It really helped shift the community's perspective, the community's viewpoint of what we did and the student achievement and the great things that were happening at the school. So if you're on the fence, today if you're on the fence on that, I would highly encourage you to build a social media team that will help capture and showcase some of those things. Obviously, follow your district policies around that. For us, we have a Facebook account, we have a Twitter account, we have a Instagram account. Those things help us to highlight, showcase instruction, activities, programs. In fact, now we capture all those activities in small little videos and we push them out also on social media, YouTube channels. So that way, when they Google us, they go on our website, you could teacher, staff, and the community at large could see some of the things that are happening. Warwick once said that the more leaders are able to create strategy that achieve the desired result, while also creating a great place to work and conduct business, the more likely a healthy culture will be the result. Let me read that again. The more leaders are able to create strategies that achieve the desired results, while also creating a great place to work and conduct business, the more likely a healthy culture will be the results. Number 3, the third way to reinvent and rebuild the culture of your school is communication. Can't say it enough. You have to communicate. You can never over communicate. So it's very important that you take time to communicate. In fact, it is said that to build a strong culture purposely, the desired cultural values need to be identified and made known. I love this quote by Warwick. To build a strong culture purposely, the desired cultural values need to be identified and made known. So our process of creating that shared vision and focus areas, our norms, our values, and next it was really to now communicate them on a regular basis. So communication is key to creating and really maintaining a strong relationship. I would even say also trust. It's very important. So there are various ways that I went about communicating on a regular basis. For the staff and the teachers, I have a weekly newsletter. Typically, I push it out on Sunday nights or Monday morning. I have a weekly newsletter. And really in that newsletter, it's really 2 pages. I share obviously focus areas, the activities that are happening for that week. But what I found out over the years is that the section that the staff tells me over the years that they focus on is the kudos area, the thank yous area, and the area of where I put a lot of the pictures, the photos and videos that we have of the things that are happening in the school. It also helped me set expectations and routine because now I'm celebrating, I'm highlighting what I want to see, the culture, the instructions, the positive things that we want to teachers I would like to see replicate throughout the school are being showcased on a weekly basis in the weekly newsletters. Obviously, we're sharing photos, sharing instructions, sharing really some of the things that are happening in the school. Now, as it relates to parents and the broader community, obviously, we are using ParentLink, which is the communication system that our district have. Regardless of what your district have, use it to communicate with your parents and community. We use our website. Use your website. You'll be surprised. Usually, your website is the first place parents goes to find information about you. The second place typically these days is social media. So you use your website and keep it updated, frequent. Have section areas where, you have videos, you have different things on there or links to other places. Have a social media account. Obviously follow your district policy. But for us, social media, it took us a couple of years to get there, but really social media have allowed us to really brand and highlight some of the great things, positive things that are happening in the school. And it has helped us shift the focus positively, cultural-wise, on the culture of the school, but also on the community's view of some of the things that are happening. So communicate, and communicate. The more you do so, you can never over communicate. In fact, principal, the school leader, you are the chief communicator. You are the chief storyteller. So it's important that you are always sharing and showcasing and highlighting positive things that are happening and telling your story. Somebody's going to tell your story, might as well be you. The fourth way to reinvent and rebuild the culture of your school is to promote teacher leadership. So when I say teacher leadership, I'm really talking about promote leadership around clerical, promote leadership around facilities team, promote leadership across the school, promote teacher leadership. Hill says that great leaders know that the secret to their success is helping others to become leaders. Let me say that again. Somebody need to hear this. Great leaders know that the secret to their success is helping others to become leaders. It's very important that you promote leaders. Invest in your people. Invest in your people. It's important that you invest and that you build capacity. You should build capacity across the board. Build capacity among teachers, build capacity among the support staff, clerical, custodial, around transportation staff, bus drivers. Build capacity. At the end of the day, it's really about promoting a culture of growth and opportunities. If you want to have a vibrant community, promote a growth mindset, a growth community, a growth environment, a growth culture where people are learning, where people are growing. Give people opportunity to learn, to grow, to shadow another position, to go get training, whether it is district-based training, whether it is you bring it to them or they go out and get it. But promote teacher leadership, promote leadership across the board. If people are willing to do the work, allow them to grow. And really, that will have an impact on student achievement. It will have an impact on the culture of your school. Another thing is about creating student-centered and creating a student-centered culture is fostering student leadership and service learning projects. Build student leadership, foster that through service learning projects, through clubs, through doing different things in the community. Why? Creating a positive culture allows for a safe and engaging environment for everyone to learn and grow in, and ensure that everyone is content to be part of the community each day. So it's very important that you promote leadership, you grow your people. We have a shortage in education, so it's vital that one of the key things is that around the teacher assistant rank, behavior tech rank, promoting them, not only encourage them to go out and get their certification, but if they already have a degree, helping them going through the alternative track for certification so they could become a teacher, become a behavior tech, behavior specialist, whatever that is that they want to grow into. The whole idea is to promote it, is to support it, and create that whole growth community, whole growth culture, growth school where your people are growing, expanding. And I know some leaders are thinking, well, if I grow them, they're going to leave. Yeah, some of them will leave. Guess what? As they leave, your impact, your legacy is going to be greater. But at the end of the day, it's all about promoting growth, because not everybody's going to leave, but the more you support, grow your people, build capacity, the greater dividend it would have, because then now you're going to build a depth. You're going to, within the ranks, you're going to build capacity. So if somebody do leave, or if somebody do get promoted or transferred or leave the profession or retired, have people that already know the vision, already know the culture, that can step in and continue the great work that's happening. The fifth way to reinvent and rebuild the culture of your school is to recognize and celebrate students and staff. Recognize and celebrate students and staff. Warwick put it this way: value, recognize, and reward behaviors that support the desired culture. Value, recognize, and reward behaviors that support the desired culture. Again, you want to value, you want to recognize, and you want to reward those behaviors that support your vision, that support your desired culture that you're trying to build. Celebrate success. It's very important to celebrate success, celebrate student success, celebrate staff success. Take time, make it a priority in the newsletter, on the website, on social media, during meetings. Celebrate success. Celebrate staff birthdays. Recognize staff birthdays during their birthday. Celebrate it. On a monthly basis, we celebrate those who are celebrating their birthday. We get a cake and we celebrate and we sing them happy birthday. Brag about your staff. Brag about your school. Tell your story. Celebrate staff. We also have Teacher of the Month. In fact, we call it Star Teacher and Star Employee of the Month. So that allows us to spotlight our staff or teacher that specific month for the instructions that are taking place, maybe for the great work that they are doing. Again, that becomes very important to recognize and celebrate your staff and student. Of course, on our student end, we have Students of the Month. We have different incentives throughout the week where we celebrate student, where we recognize student, obviously most improved, award ceremonies. But what we find very important as part of our positive behavior intervention plan is that on a weekly basis, really recognizing student. And it really doesn't cost much, announcing their name. Sometimes we give a soda, sometimes it's chips that we give them, whatever it is that we give them. It's not really about what they get. It's really all about the recognition. I'm being recognized. I'm being celebrated. In fact, some kids have said to us, this is I've been in many schools, but this is the first school that I actually received a reward. I've actually been recognized for something. And parents have said, I usually get a phone call for a bad behavior and you calling me because my child is getting some type of reward. And sometimes simply the most improved student. You got less referral this month. And we are just celebrating the fact that, you're making incremental. You're not perfect, but you are making incremental changes. We have every quarter, we have breakfast and luncheon where we try to celebrate and recognize the hard work of our staff and our teachers. The whole idea is that if you're going to reinvent and rebuild the culture of your school, that you set time to really recognize people, recognize the work, the things that are happening in your school. The sixth way to reinvent, to rebuild the culture of your school is really parental engagement. Parental engagement is very important. You got to engage your parents. You have to engage your community. It's very important. In fact, Lauren says that what is the most underused resource in education today? Parents. She highlighted the fact that we do not maximize parent. And I know in some communities that are listening to me, Title I schools, I've worked in Title I schools, I've worked in some challenging schools, and it may be a challenge to get parents out because some of them may be working 2 or 3 jobs. Not that they don't want to be there, but they are working 2 or 3 jobs. High ELL communities. With technology these days, you could find and be intentional in finding ways to communicate with them, whether it is using online platforms, whether it is Zoom, whether it is a team, Microsoft Teams, whatever it is, find different ways. You may have to use different strategies until you find what works. But the key thing is about parental engagement. The former governor of Arizona, Jan D. Hall, once says that at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is positive involvement of parents. At the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of parents. So the more we get parents involved, the more we engage them into the school, get them to support their child, get them to volunteer, the more it will transform the culture of the school, again, to being positive. The seventh way to reinvent and rebuild the culture of your school is to connect and leverage community relationship and partnership. We all know about, hey, it's important to have community involvement, but it is really important to leverage, to increase community and business partners. Some of the ways we went about doing it is, every school has career days. We end up having 2 career days. We do one in December and one in January. The whole idea is if we were part of our mission was to really get kids prepared to be career ready. And if we were going to do so, we needed to make sure that we have career days. We bring in different people. We wanted to make sure that we bring in different business partners to expose them to various careers. We had guest speakers in, obviously recruiting guest speakers, bringing them in. It's very important to leverage the different community partners. For us, we provided wraparound services to strengthen and support student and parents' mental health. And to do so, the way, I went about doing it is really reach out to the various community agencies and really connect and met with them, obviously highlighting, they already have the statistics of the communities, but really highlighting the need that we had around mental health, around mental health, and making sure that, they support us to support our students around social, emotional, and mental health needs. As a school, you will never have enough money to hire enough family therapists, family counselors, but we can partner and leverage community organization to meet those needs. So we partner with different community agencies to provide wraparound service to meet students' social, emotional, mental, trauma needs. The other area was around career ready. I mentioned earlier. We applied and received over $600,000 in grants. We have several community and business partners, and the whole idea, and that has allowed us to provide paid internship and on-the-job training to students with our local city government and local businesses to help prepare students to be career ready. Yes, they're heading to college, but we do know there's a great need. We need plumbers. We need electricians. We need mechanics. And quite frankly, in the tech world where I came from, as my background in engineering, a lot of programming jobs just require certifications to make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 more than teachers. It does not even require a bachelor's degree. So there's a lot of shortage, at least for us in our community. And one of the we wanted to address is to ensure that kids were not only college ready, but career ready to tap into the shortage that is here locally in the marketplace. We also started a STEM program. We are honored and blessed that we have Oracle locally, and Oracle partner up with our STEM program to really broaden and enhance students' coding and programming skills. So every month she came in, met, provide input, teach students how to program. We have hackathons. There are other businesses that support and provide incentives for the winners. But again, due to because we were able to expand the partnership, we are able to provide those type of experience by leveraging and connecting with community and businesses in the community. 7 ways to reinvent and rebuild the culture of the school. We said number 1 was to relationship matters. It is all about relationship. Number 2, we said create a shared vision. You need to have a vision for your school, a shared vision by having your staff and everyone collaborating together, coming together with a shared vision, and identify 2 to 3, no more than 3 or 4 focus areas, big rocks of areas that you want to focus on and change. Number 3 is communicate. Communication become very important. Communicate. Obviously, find different ways to communicate. Use technology, use social media to communicate and share and showcase some of the things that are happening in your school. Number 4, we said was teacher leadership is really just promoting leadership and really building capacity up and down the organization, up and down your school and in department. The 5th way is to celebrate and recognize. Celebrate and recognize teachers, staff, the positive things that are taking place in your school. The 6th way we talked about was parental engagement. It's invaluable. It's critical that we build and engage parental engagement and engage our parents in our community. Number 7 was to really connect and leverage community relationship and partnership. And that really is around recruiting and meeting and increasing your partnership to help meet some of the needs that are happening. For us, wraparound services was one of the major needs around mental health, social emotional needs. And by connecting with our mental health agencies, they were able to provide wraparound services for our parents, for our students. We wanted to scale up our STEM program. Oracle and some other businesses came around that. We wanted to provide more career on-the-job training. Businesses open their business to allow our kids to come in, get this paid internship and on-the-job training. So these are the 7 ways you can reinvent, you can rebuild the culture of your school. My hope is that you'll be able to take at least one nugget that would improve your school or improve your culture. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me today. Please consider subscribing to the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and a comment. Share this episode with a friend and on social media. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for leadership ideas and tips. Again, thank you for joining me today. Until next time.